in the center of attention are community leaders. Hi, Zizette. Welcome to our show, and thank you for accepting our invitation. I'll be just straightforward and direct. How did you get involved in public service? What's your background?
Thank you so much for having me here today and giving me the opportunity to interview with you. First of all, Zizette Mullins. I was actually born in Egypt, Cairo. I came to United States when I was 13 years of age. Did not speak a word of English, and here I am today living the American dream by running for office. I spent 35 years of my life in public service. I started in 1987 in the city of Glendale. I worked there 25 years in most of every department in the city of Glendale. In water and power, I worked in finance, I worked in economic development, and my last 10 years in my career were in the city manager's office. Also, while I was there in Glendale, I was the Employees Association president, which is a union president representing close to 1,500 employees on negotiations, salary, compensation, grievances, you name it, that deals with employee issues. Mm-hmm. I was their president. And I had an opportunity in 2012 to come to the city of Burbank. Mm-hmm. To run for city clerk position. And the city clerk here in Burbank is an elected position. Okay. So I applied for the position in 2012, and council unanimously appointed me among 12 people who applied. Then I ran in 2013, and I'm now completing my second term as the elected city clerk.
Amazing.
Thank you. And one thing I do need to mention that I have been a Burbank resident for 40 years. So I have long-rooted history in Burbank. My kids were born and raised here. My grandchildren born and raised. So very rooted person here in Burbank.
You mentioned 25 years in Glendale and 35 years in public service. You must be very familiar with the Armenian community then, because we have a substantial Armenian community both in Glendale and Burbank, and I'm sure you're familiar with the issues, with the culture, and I hope you can help us, because the Armenian community is not quite involved in local politics, in city, state. And one of the reasons is that we just don't bother to, get involved. But I think it's very important to be part of the, that life. So if you could, explain and, go into details, how does it work? What is city council? How many seats does it have? How do you elect someone into city council, and what do they do?
Great. So I am definitely not only familiar, I worked very, very close with the Armenian community in Glendale, and I do that here also in Burbank. I was the staff liaison working directly with the mayor and our city council with the Armenian community, worked with the Armenian National Committee and with the Western Diocese here, with St. Mary's Church over in Glendale on Armenian issues such as genocide. I was the staff from the city council's office to work on creating and coming up with the Armenian genocide event that we started at the Alex Theater many years ago. And I was, because of my work in dealing with the Armenian community, we also developed a sister city program with the sister Gapan in Armenia, and that led to the Armenian community, inviting me to go to Armenia in 2003.
Wow.
Had a great time. I went to Yerevan, I went to Gapan. We also spent some time with our sister city, Arapa. And so, I'm sorry, Garapa, and then our sister city is in Gapan. So I learned a lot more about the Armenian community just being there among them, very close to the Egyptian culture. We're very warm people, hospitable, and they really care about their country. So I continue to work with the Armenian community here in Burbank. And, I have really strong relationship with so many Armenian people. So how does the Armenian community get involved with the election? And I know there's a lot of myth about I don't want to register to vote because I don't want to be called on jury duty, or it's better to stay away from government because, let's face it, not too many people have great relationship with government back where they came from.
Yeah.
So they tend to stay away from being involved in voting especially. But I think what a lot of people don't understand, the local government has more impact on their lives than the federal or state. Being involved in the local government, you have your day-to-day living here in Burbank, your parks, your streets, your safety, the police, fire, anything that happens here in local government impacts your life immediately. So our council really is in charge of putting together policies, and the policies affect your day-to-day life. Housing, low-income housing is a huge thing that I know we hear a lot from the younger generation, the Armenian community, about we don't have enough housing, we don't have a rent or affordable housing. These are the things that I will be working on when I'm a council member. But we need to get more people involved in registering to vote and also involved in elections. Because if you don't elect the right person in office, you're going to end up seeing a lot of these services, a lot of the things that we work hard for right now, maybe don't exist because things will change, and that it's not going to better serve them. It's actually going to hurt them as residents here in Burbank.
Is city council involved with education, school districts, and those departments?
A very good question, because a lot of people think that council oversees the school district. We do not. The school has its own school board members, and they have their own identity, basically working directly with the state. They don't work with the cities. We do have a relationship working together on the betterment of the whole entire community. So we have meetings with the school district, but we do not set the rules for them on education or anything else that they do directly with the students. So it's good to know there's a difference.
Sure. And coming back to voting and participating in voting, do you have to register in order to vote, or how does that work?
Yes, you do. There's two ways to register to vote. One is you go online under lavote.org, and it literally takes a minute. It's so quick, it's so efficient. They just require you have your name and address and simple questions. And then the other way is you fill out a voter registration card, and that is available in the city clerk's office, which is my office at City Hall, 275 East Olive, or at any of the libraries. We also have cards at the libraries.
Okay, yeah. And because you're running for the city council, please explain to us what does city council member do? Is there any specific roles, given to each council member, or how does it work?
Our city council, we have 5 members, and the mayor is a rotation mayor. So every year, one of the council members will become the mayor, and they're voted for by the council members. So we don't have a mayor like Los Angeles where they run specifically for that position. So everyone is originally a council member. And so right now we have 3 positions open on council, and we have 5 individuals. And this is the first time in history ever that 5 women are running for the 3 seats, no men. So the first time in history that we'll have 3 women on council, and then currently we have 2 male individuals on council. So
I'm sorry, how many seats in total?
Total council is 5.
5, okay.
3 of them are open right now.
Yeah.
And then the 5 individuals who are running, including myself. So it is the first time in history women have, came in, and 5 of them are running. So the responsibilities of council is basically to set policies for the city. So staff will come up with a recommendation and say, we need to do, housing in this development area. And council evaluates based on the public input and based on the need for the community. And also the law has a lot to do with it. So then they make a decision by taking a vote and then making that decision whether the project is going to go through or not. Sometimes council also initiate the process for certain things. They would ask staff to come back with a report on how to have more, outdoor dining in the city, or things that the public reach to the council for and ask for. So sometime the council initiate the discussion as well. So I, as the city clerk, have been in almost every council meeting for the last 10 years. So I said my job is to watch the legislative process takes place in the meeting. I take the minutes for the council. I also take the vote. I make sure they're all following the rules and regulations of the Brown Act. I'm also responsible to notify the public of the meetings to make sure that we have open public meetings. And I sat and listened to the public for the last 10 years and the council making decision on what we should do in our city. And so that's one of the reasons I decided to run for council, because I have the 35 years of experience, 10 of which I sat there and I heard every single
detail happening,
every single decision, every single conversation. So I come in with really a wealth of information. I already know the staff in the organization. I know who the key players are. I know the current council. And so first day on the job, it's not going to be, where do I talk to somebody? Yes. Where do I find the office? Who's responsible for something? It would be just hitting the ground running and knowing exactly what to do.
This is your experience you're talking about. You have 2 other words included in your slogan, which are leadership and integrity. How about these? Can you elaborate, please?
Well, integrity and leadership to me are very, very strong words that I follow throughout my whole career. Integrity, from day one, I became a city employee. I count on my integrity, and for these reasons, I've been endorsed by a slew of leaders in the community and also our elected officials. For example, Senator Portantino is, as soon as I called him, I've known him since the 90s. And he was pleased to endorse me. I was endorsed also by Assembly Member Laura Friedman, Assembly Member Adrienne Nazarian, all the current Mayor, Jess Talamantes, Mayor of Glendale, Artie Kasakian, Ellen Astorian, Bob Frutos. So I have, if you check my website, ZizetteMullins.com, you'll see the amount of endorsement. I was also endorsed by Supervisor Catherine Barger. Great woman, great honor.
That's a very diverse group of people.
Yes, absolutely. And the reason I'm using the word integrity with these endorsements, because I've always operated in my life in public service based on integrity and always doing my best, doing my job, representing everyone on all sides. I look at our community as a whole, not a special interest group. For this reason, integrity to me is very important, and that's why I have the support that I have, including our Western Diocese here, the Archbishop.
Yes.
And the other thing in integrity, I am the election official. And the election official, I conducted 9 elections in the city of Burbank for our local council members and school board. And all these selections have to have integrity, meaning you must deliver the ballots, you must deliver the results to our residents with transparency and integrity. Because anything that can go wrong, you want to make sure that I'm transparent and they know that I've operated with integrity to protect our election. As far as leadership, I walk the walk and I talk the talk. So I take really great pride in doing my best in whatever I do. So I mentor younger generations. I mentor a lot of women, a lot of younger generations that come to my office who are seeking internship or just a little lost in life. They don't know where to go. I take them on board and I mentor them and I give them opportunities so they can shine and grow within the organization or outside of the organization, whatever they feel like they need to be. I also have taken the lead on changing my office completely, and that's leadership. Not just going to work and just being happy.
With
whatever is happening today,
Yeah.
it's okay. But I've taken the leadership and I started a passport program in the city clerk's office that back in 2015 when people said, oh, where do we go for passport? Post office closed. I could have just walked away and said, we don't offer this service. But with my staff's help and my leadership encouraging and motivating them, we started the program. And we have hundreds and not thousands of people that have come not only from Burbank, our surrounding cities, and we made $2.8 million in revenue for the city. So that's all in the general fund that the city gets to spend on other projects. So that's leadership to me.
Of course.
That helping our younger generation, helping creating some great programs that would benefit the city.
This is in between because the diocese has it's called Nerush. It's for the young people, and they gather as networking and meeting professionals who are in their field doing great. Maybe we should call you for the next Nerush meeting, and you can mentor and give guidance to the youth who are interested getting involved in public service.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I'd love it because another thing that we've done with the youth is I go to their classrooms at Burroughs High and Burbank High. And I talked to the younger generations about the importance to register to vote. And we created what's called the Clerk's Cup because I'm the city clerk. So we created and the clerk from the school district. And so we do a competition, a healthy competition to see which high school is going to register the most students.
Wow.
And so for that reason, we were acknowledged that we are the highest city to register the youth.
Wow.
Or pre-registered because they have to be 18 to vote, but we register them at the age of 16. So when they graduate and they become 18, they don't have to worry about registration. So the city
Ready
of Burbank,
to go. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm very familiar with the youth, and I'm happy to come and attend the meeting to talk with them.
Great. Now I want to ask you something specific because. How would you tell the Armenian community to come and get involved? What are they going to get from that?
Well, there's many ways that the Armenian community get involved, and I actually work very close with your administration here and also with the ANCA in Burbank on communicating with them when we have openings like on boards and commissions to serve on the community. I think it's really important that the public understands there's a large population of Armenian community here in Burbank, which we need to really engage in the process also, not only with serving on boards and commissions, but also having a voice what happens to them in Burbank, not making other people decide for them what should happen in Burbank. We typically, as you know, when people only complain when something is wrong or something happened to them. For example, if they go get a permit and it takes 6 months to get it, and they all of a sudden I'm not happy with the city, I'm not happy with the city. Well, I think if they were involved with the city, and we know they have a voice, that I think it's important that they can have connection to the city and they can contact us and let us know what's going on. But when they're out of sight, out of mind, we're never going to hear what's going on.
If you don't speak up about your issues.
Exactly. You're never going to know. Or something's happening in the neighborhood. There's homeless populations, and they're right in front of my house. I don't know what to do. But then, they start being concerned about it. The voice for every Armenian community here in Burbank is really important. And we are very aware of the number of really voters that turn out in Burbank, and it's very, very low. I mean, unfortunately very low. And therefore, when there's a decision to be made for the overall of the community, the voices are not going to be heard because we know the population is not high in the voters turnout, and they're kind of okay, the silent part that they don't participate. So people should really consider the importance of registering to vote. Voter registration is going to end on October 24th. And if they want to have a say to who's going to represent them, because there's a lot of individuals that they may not align themselves with who are running for council. And before you know it, and running for school board and running for city clerk. And so before you know it, you might end up wake up in the morning and say, what's happening? Why did these things take place? And because they didn't get involved, they weren't aware who's on the ballot. And that's why we're doing this today too, is to educate them on the importance of participation. Registering to vote is not going to take away anything from anyone's life. It's going to actually enhance your life. It's going to add to your life by having a say to who's on the ballot. The ballots were sent out on Friday.
We got them?
Yes. Good. So make sure you fill them out and mark my name on number 4 on the ballot.
Yes.
But beside that, I really think people still have time that they need to register, and they will get a ballot. They will get it before the election. There's a lot of ways you can vote. Everyone gets the ballot mailed to them. Or they can go to vote centers. We're going to have one at Buena Vista Library. We're going to have one in McCambridge Park. And there's one at the center, the ANC Armenian Youth Center. They have an 11-day voting center there, so they can walk in there and also vote 11 days prior to the election. So there's a lot of different ways they can vote. So I highly, highly encourage, if they haven't registered already, to do so today. Go online, lavote.org, and complete that form and get a ballot.
There's nothing difficult in that. And as you mentioned, we don't want to wake up one day and see that, we're facing issues that, are giving hard times to our families, to us, to our children. And it's just like preventive medicine. You have to get involved, live a healthy, life, choose your food correctly, exercise, and do stuff to prevent illnesses. It's the same in public service life or in politics. You want people who represent your values. You want them in the front lines, and representing your values and fighting for those. And we truly appreciate that you're doing that. You have been doing that, and you're running for a city council member. And I hope that the Armenian community will show up this time. Actually,
I hope so.
Not only for you, for those people who represent those values that we live with.
Yes, I agree. And our schools are really important as well. So there is 2 people on the school board that, election. So if you don't like what's going on right now with your children, what's going on with what's happening in the schools, their education, whatever the case might be for each individual, this is the same election to say, no, I don't like what's happening. I want a different person, or I want this person to be in there, and educate yourself. Everything is online. They can go and check out the information or their sample ballot and educate yourself. Because last election in 2020, given that, I'm the election official, people were calling me and said, what happened? How did these people get on council? I'm like, people got a ballot, and this is what you get, whether it's school or treasurer or board. It doesn't matter what it is, even on state and federal level.
Yeah.
You need to be, make sure that you have your voice to support the people that represent you.
And again, I hope it works out this time, and because it's very important. Yes. We tend to not pay attention to this political life, public service life, everything what's happening around us. But it turns out it's crucial. It's crucial for our everyday issues, everyday life, and so we wish you good luck.
Thank you.
And we thank you, dear Zizette, that you took your time, came here. You explained what the voting process, how it works, how does Burbank City Council work, and the rest. We really appreciate that, and we wish you good luck.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I tell everyone, get out and vote. Don't put that ballot, if you have it already, make sure you fill it out, send it in the mail. And I appreciate the support from the diocese. And I'm always going to be here working with the Armenian community. And I'm one of you guys. Obviously, I didn't tell you, but I am Coptic Orthodox as well.
Yes.
So as an Egyptian Coptic Orthodox. So we need to keep our strength tied together and work together as a team.
And we will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.